Reflection of culture in practice. This presentation is to explore how cultural dimension influence workplace behavior and organizational practices. Before that, let me introduce myself. My name is NURUL SYAMIMI BINTI AZIAN and I will be your presenter. First of all, in a globalized world, employee and manager often work with people from different cultural backgrounds. Therefore, understanding cultural differences is essential to avoid misunderstanding and to improve workplace effectiveness. In this presentation, I will compare Malaysia and Italy by focusing on two cultural dimensions and explain how this dimension affect communication style, leadership approach, decision-making process, and reward and incentive. Introduction to cultural dimension. What is cultural dimension? Before that, to analyze cultural differences, this presentation will apply hosted cultural dimension theory. Cultural dimension describe how value in a society influence behavior in organization and everyday work life. Among the several dimensions proposed by hosted dimension, this presentation will focuses on two dimensions, which is first, power distance, and second, uncertainty avoidance. These two dimensions strongly influence how organizations operate and how employee behavior in the workplace. Moving forward to introduction to selected countries. Why do you think I choose Italy and Malaysia as my selected country? First, Malaysia. Malaysia is multicultural country in Southeast Asia with strong Asian values such as respect for hierarchy, harmony, and collectivism in the workplace. Malaysian culture emphasizes politeness, respect for seniority, and maintaining good interpersonal relationships. While in Italy, Italy is a European country known for its rich history, strong tradition, and expressive communication style. Italian work culture values structure, professionalism, expertise, and clear procedure. Particularly in formal organizational setting, these two countries were chosen because they show clear contrast in power distance and uncertainty avoidance between Asian and European countries, making the comparison meaningful and relevant. And now, moving forward to the main point for this presentation, work culture comparison based on cultural dimension. Let's look at the first dimension, power distance. Power distance refers to the extent to which people in a society accept unequal distribution of power. In high power distance culture, employees respect authority, follow hierarchy, and rarely challenge superior. In lower power distance culture, relationships between manager and employee are more open and participative. First point, let's look at communication style. In Malaysia, communication in the workplace is generally indirect and polite. Employees tend to avoid open confrontation and prefer respectful and harmonious communication. Disagreements are often expressed subtly to avoid offending others, especially superiors. This reflects Malaysia's high power distance, where employees show strong respect for authority and avoid challenging manager directly. In contrast, Italy has more direct and expressive communication style. Italian employees are more comfortable expressing opinion, emotion, and disagreement openly during meeting or discussion. Although hierarchy exists, communication is often lively, transparent, and interactive. These differences can sometimes lead to misunderstanding in cross-cultural workplace. For example, Malaysia may perceive Italians are too outspoken, while Italians may view Malaysia are too reserved. And now, let's look at the second workplace culture, which is leadership approach. How leadership approach in Malaysia? Leadership in Malaysia tends to be more authoritative and hierarchical. Managers are expected to provide direction and make decisions, while employees follow instructions respectfully. Employees may hesitate to question decisions due to cultural norms, emphasizing obedience and respect. This leadership approach reflects Malaysia's high power distance culture, while in Italy, leadership is more structured but participative. While managers hold authority, employees are encouraged to share ideas and contribute during discussion. Leaders are respected mainly for their expertise, competence, and decision-making ability, rather than position alone. This shows that Italy has moderate power distance, allowing more interaction between leader and employee compared to Malaysia. Before we move on to the second dimension theory, let's look at the similarity between Malaysia and Italy. Although Malaysia and Italy differ in their level of power distance, there are also important similarity in their workplace culture. First, both cultures respect hierarchy and authority. In Malaysia, the respect shown through obedience and formality, while in Italy, authority is respected through expertise and professional competence. In both countries, managers are expected to guide employees and make final decisions. Second, workplace relationships are important in both cultures. Malaysian employees emphasize harmony, politeness, and trust, while Italian employees value personal connection, open interaction, and teamwork. Despite different communication styles, both cultures believe that good relationships contribute to effective collaboration. Last but not least, professionalism is emphasized in formal work setting in both countries. Respectful behavior, proper conduct during meeting, and clear role boundary are commonly observed. We done with first dimension theory, which is power distance. Now, let's look at the second dimension theory, which is uncertainty avoidance. Uncertainty avoidance refers to how comfortable a society with uncertainty change and ambiguity. Society with high uncertainty avoidance prefer clear rule, structure, procedure, and careful planning. Society with low uncertainty avoidance are more flexible, adaptant, and open to risk-taking. Now, let's look at another workplace culture that linked with uncertainty avoidance dimension theory, which is decision-making process. In Malaysia, decision-making often involves consultation, but final authority remains with top management. Decision may take time as manager prioritize harmony and avoid conflict. Employees usually wait for clear instruction before taking action. While in Italy, decision-making is strongly influenced by high uncertainty avoidance. Organizations prefer detailed planning, formal procedure, and clear defined rules. Risks are carefully evaluated before decisions are made. As a result, Italian decision-making tends to be systematic and cautious, while Malaysia decision-making places greater emphasis on relationship and respect for hierarchy. Last but not least, the most important workplace culture in an organization, which is reward and incentive. How reward and incentive will affect the uncertainty avoidance? Now, let me explain. Here why. Rewards and incentive. How reward and incentive in both culture. In Malaysia, rewards and incentive often emphasize group harmony and loyalty. Promotion may be influenced by seniority, trust, and long-term contribution. The more you work, the more reward you get. Team-based rewards are common, reflecting a collectivist mindset. And Italy, rewards are more performance-based. Employees are recognized for their individual skill, achievement, and expertise. Clear evaluation systems are used to ensure fairness and transparency, aligning with Italy's high uncertainty avoidance culture. These differences significantly affect employee motivation and workplace expectation. And we done. Now, let's look at how this impact on employee and manager in this workplace culture and dimension theory. Cultural dimensions strongly influence both employee behavior and managerial practice. In Malaysia, employees may appear less vocal but are loyal, cooperative and respectful. Manager must lead with sensitivity and maintain workplace harmony. While in Italy, employees are more expressive and expect clarity and structure. Managers must provide clear rules, detailed guidance, and transparent communication. Without cultural awareness, misunderstanding may occur, reducing productivity and teamwork. We at the end of this presentation. So let me make a conclusion of importance of cultural dimension in globalized world. In a conclusion, this comparative observation between Malaysia and Italy demonstrate that cultural dimension significantly shape workplace behavior and organizational practice. Understanding differences in power distance and uncertainty avoidance helps organizations to first improve cross-cultural communication, reduce workplace conflict, enhance leadership effectiveness, and build stronger international collaboration. By recognizing and respecting cultural differences, organizations can operate more effectively in a globalized environment.